I don't know. Angel Reese, she might have tapped out, y'all. Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating, what is this back injury? What's going on? Hey.
Reese has walked out on the Chicago Sky once again. No warning, no explanations, just a flat-out exit. Fans are outraged, teammates are left in shock, and the whole situation is playing out messier than a reality TV reunion. Could this be the end of her WNBA career, or just the beginning of her boldest move yet? What went down behind the scenes is nothing short of jaw-dropping, and you won't believe what's coming next.
The world wants to know. The whole world is wondering, where in the world is Batman? I'm joking. I want to know, Chicago Sky fans, women's basketball, WNBA, Angel Reese fans, where in the world?
Angel Reese walking out on the Chicago Sky is about as shocking as the sun rising in the east. I called this weeks ago, but now everyone's acting like it's the sports scandal of the decade. Let's be real, this isn't news. It's just Angel being Angel, obsessed with the spotlight but allergic to the grind. She's not built for diving on the floor, battling for rebounds, or grinding out ugly wins. She's built for cameras, clicks, and headlines. The moment real effort is required, she vanishes. Faster than one of her free throws in crunch time. And if you want more raw, no-nonsense takes like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next.
I find it very symbolic, very almost funny but not funny. Not funny haha, but funny sad, that out of all the bodily injuries that Angel Reese, a player, could experience, she's experiencing a back injury. Her back is literally hurting. And is it because that she is tired of carrying the weight of the Chicago Sky on her back, being that floor general and that floor leader? Did the Chicago Sky break Angel Reese's back?
This whole Rookie of the Year debate between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Let's be real, it was never even close. The idea that it was a tight race is about as realistic as me shopping for a $20 million mansion. Fun to imagine, but never grounded in reality. The media kept pushing it because controversy gets clicks, and Clark running away with it doesn't drive headlines. Truth is, Reese's name stayed in the mix because she's built for the spotlight, bold, flashy, and always stirring conversation online. But when you look past the noise to the film and the numbers, they didn't shout dominance. At best, they whispered, maybe next year.
Listen, everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering, what is really going on with Angel Reese? Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you gotta be, hold on, you have to have some level of self-awareness here. Last year with the Chicago Sky, you quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you no longer, you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was.
And you know who I hold responsible for this entire circus? Every single person who kept elevating her as if she were the second coming of basketball greatness while she was barely doing the basics. Every commentator who treated a meaningless garbage time double-double like it was some once-in-a-lifetime performance. Every fan who confused a few flashy poses and snarky glances for real leadership. You kept feeding the hype machine until it grew so massive it deserved its own jersey number. You turned routine effort into Hall of Fame moments, and now the Chicago Sky are facing the reality check. Because when you hand the keys to someone who never wanted to drive, you can't be surprised when the season ends up stranded in a ditch.
She did wear the villain role on her sleeve, no doubt about that. She didn't do a lot to help herself when she was winning the NCAA championship last year against Iowa, and she was taunting Caitlin Clark. But did we forget that Caitlin Clark had been doing the same thing to numerous opponents throughout that season last year? That it wasn't until she was humbled in that national championship game against LSU that she dialed it back a little bit? You can't want to be the villain. You can't pride yourself in being the villain, and then you lose, and all of a sudden you succumb to those emotions. That is true to some degree. But Usually when you lose and you have an opportunity to sit back and reflect, there's a mountain of emotions that get heaped on your shoulders and it's hard to hold it in. Not to mention when teammates are coming to your defense because they realize how the insults against you have been so...
Chicago isn't really home for Angel. It's just Maryland 2.0, another flashy pit stop on her endless Look at Me tour. She's already eyeing the next LSU, a team with a stacked roster where she can swoop in, let the grinders do the dirty work, and then strike a pose when the confetti falls. That's the whole playbook. Skip the foundation, ignore the blueprints, and move straight into a championship house that someone else built. She's not the architect, the builder, or the engine of success. She's the tenant who arrives after the sweat is spilled, rearranges the furniture, and brags about how amazing the place looks.
Something that isn't, she's got a back injury. Like, I'm not going to be out here saying that Angel Reese needs to go out and play through a damn back injury. I just don't think is the case, especially when your team is as bad as it is. Like, absolutely just thinking it up constantly. Like the Chicago Sky.
The Sky set themselves up for trouble the moment they drafted her. They didn't just sign up for the Angel Reese experience, they locked in front row season tickets to every dramatic exit and every I'm not feeling it moment. And if she ever decided to toss in the towel, you'd need 4 attempts before it actually landed anywhere near the court. Jokes aside, Reese plays basketball for one person only, herself. Not her teammates, not the fans, and certainly not the franchise. What drives her isn't winning, it's the attention, the endorsement deals, the interviews, the Instagram likes. The second adversity shows up, so does her disappearing act. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. You see it in the way she plays. She doesn't need to be the loudest in the room because she's the one draining the shots that make the entire arena erupt. While Clark is busy making history, Reese is checking if the lighting's right for her post-game outfit photo. One rookie is building a career, the other is building a brand, and hoping no one notices the difference.
You threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you. That's 2 seasons.
Let's take a moment to talk about leadership. Real leaders carry the weight of their team. They own the failures, spread the credit, and never shy away from accountability. Ree, on the other hand, seems allergic to responsibility. You'll never hear her say, "That one's on me." Instead, it's all shrugs and side eyes, as if the blame always belongs to someone else. And honestly, when your whole strategy is clinging to coattails, you can't exactly admit you're the one slowing the horse down. No surprise she's already looking for her next exit. What Chicago needs is a builder, not a passenger. But Reese has made herself a permanent passenger. She craves the perks, the spotlight, the parades, but skips the 6 a.m. workouts and film sessions that actually make champions. The wild part, she'll still grab more headlines for walking away than most of the league gets for winning. That's the benefit of being a brand-first athlete. The attention doesn't stop, even if you do. And here's the thing, quit once, maybe people give you the benefit of the doubt. Twice though, and it stops being a fluke, it becomes your identity. At this point, Angel Reese isn't shocking anyone. She's turned disappearing into a career move. She's the WNBA's Houdini, except without the mystery, just the vanishing act.
Listen, Angel Reese has thrown in the towel. She refuses to travel with the team. Once again, the team has a road game. We already saw she refused to travel with the team to Indiana versus the Fever. Now they head to Connecticut to take on the worst team in the league. Yes, they finally win against a team that is worse than them, the Connecticut Sun.
And here's the punchline. No matter how messy it gets, she'll still frame it as some kind of self-care or empowerment story because that's what sells on social media. Next week, she'll be on a podcast talking about protecting her peace, and plenty of people will eat it up. Never mind that her so-called peace was apparently threatened by doing her actual job. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there grinding, logging heavy minutes, taking hits, drawing double teams, and still producing. Clark isn't chasing the next LSU, she's building her own dynasty from the ground up. Chicago Sky fans deserve more than a player who treats the season like a side hustle. They deserve someone who shows up when the lights are bright and when the seats are half empty. Someone who puts in the work when nobody's watching. Angel Reese. She's not that player, she's the star of her own movie, and unfortunately the rest of the team is just the background. If the Sky were smart, they'd see the lesson here. Stop drafting for hype, start drafting for heart. Because hype fades fast, but heart is what wins you games in the fourth quarter and delivers championships in September.
Nobody knew what had happened on the day. Nothing had happened. Then somebody got into Angel Reese's ear to say that this happened, and she then doubled and tripled down, saying that something happened even though she didn't hear it herself. And then she's there reposting tweets or reposting TikToks saying that Gamebridge is dangerous for her and it's a danger if she goes to Gamebridge and all of this crap.
The sad truth is that Ree really does have the talent. She's not some random player off the street. She's got the size, the skill, and the ability to dominate. But talent without effort is like a sports car without gas. Sure, it looks great sitting in the driveway, but it's not going anywhere. And Ree seems more focused on being seen behind the wheel than actually winning the race. So no, I'm not surprised she quit again. I said it weeks ago, and I'll say it again now. Angel Reese doesn't want to play basketball. She wants to be famous.